You know, one of the things we like to do on this channel is call out things that might hurt you as a hunter. And it doesn't matter if it's a hunting industry, if it's just something that's general knowledge that actually isn't factual. We really want to call that out so that we can help you and make sure that you're on the right track. And when we start thinking about this right here, Dylan and I, one of the things that really hit me is in this deer hunting industry lies is I love the deer hunting industry. I love what I do. I'm very blessed, very fortunate. I work with some great companies. But number one here, what you find is, see, I don't have a TV show. People ask, where are my buck kills? Well, they're scattered in my strategy videos all over the place. I don't have anything like, Jeff's 170-inch Wisconsin archery buck for 2019. I don't have something like that because that's not what this channel is about, but I do sprinkle those hunts within all our strategy. And so there's a lot of times I'll refer to my shots last year, the 2 bucks I had over water holes in Wisconsin and Minnesota. I'll refer to those all the time. Dylan will put the B-roll in, but it's not my job of what I do to go out with a television crew and go into the woods and hunt. A lot of the companies that are doing that are going from outfitter to outfitter to outfitter. Maybe they have their own property they try to do a little bit on, but there'll be 13-week episodes. They need to have 13 hunts. So they're going from guide to guide to guide, and they're put on a stand, and that's more the hunting industry. That's their only source of income. Maybe one of them has a book or something. Maybe they do speaking engagements. I don't do speaking engagements because I don't have time. I actually am very busy in what we do, I'm almost, I hate to say it, if you look up on my website, we have all our prices there, but I charge $37.50 a day, $3,750 a day to go to someone's land. I started at $500 a day back in 2005, so it's been a long time pushing that price up. And for that, instead of going to 125 clients in a year, I'll go to 75 next year. And we're already 2/3 of the way booked with for next year in 2023. I have that. I sell my books, sell my web classes. I have a good standing with YouTube, and I have some really good partners out there. And the thing about the difference with me and partners compared to the hunting industry as a whole is if that's your only source of income, I hope you guys don't realize, or I hope you guys realize this, the outdoor channel doesn't pay hunters or hunting celebrities to put their shows. The hunting celebrities pay them. That's same with the sportsman's channel. It can be quite costly. And so it gets to a point where you have to amass a lot of product sponsorship and dollars to keep your shows going. Now, Dylan, I know to put you on the spot here, you guys flirted with, and I think you were, I don't know if you're invited, was it the sportsman's channel?
Oh, yeah, we're very close back in the day to putting our show on the sportsman channel.
Yeah.
And just realized how expensive it was and how slim the margin was and how difficult it was going to be to ever make a real living at it. So we ended up not going that route, thankfully.
First, I want to thank you guys so much for buying and trying our food plot seed blends. Now, I want to introduce to you our switchgrass blends. And I say blend because we have a southern variety and a northern variety specific to your region. We have a base seed that goes into that's specific to you. And then we have a couple of moderately height stiffening varieties within there so that we can make sure that your stand of switchgrass stays up longer. Check them out on our website. Thank you guys so much. We've sold seed now in over 40 states, and we really appreciate you trying us out. Check out our switchgrass on our site, www.whitetailhabitatsolutions.com. And I think you even had partners in the hunting industry tell you, hey, we're not going to pay anymore for it. What we do,
right,
you either going to...
Yeah, I mean, media itself has shifted, obviously. I think there's a lot more of a demand for online content, where, we were kind of just hitting it at a weird time.
Right. Yeah, it was right at the end of the golden era where companies would get a lot of money thrown at them to be on cable TV. Then it started to shift towards digital content creation from actual people that are in the field using this information on a daily basis. Not that you guys weren't, but that's the shift. You want real information. It's competitive. So when you're putting out something on YouTube, you have to compete against how many others channels that are out there, hundreds of them, if not thousands of deer hunting channels. And when it came to product, if you guys were in a position where you went to the sportsman channel and paid X amount of dollars, do you remember what those numbers were?
It was about $50,000 for the slot that we were going to get on the channel, and that was like not a great time slot in quarters 1 and 2, which is not when the eyeballs are typically watching hunting content. So
As opposed to quarters 3 and 4.
Yes, absolutely. So that was January through June or July, and the actual times that we wanted were so much more expensive.
Don't you think it's crazy when there's people out there that'll see a show on cable TV and think, man, those guys must be rich.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think a lot of those guys are, though. I mean,
Like those top 10, probably top 12, something like that.
We can get into down a rabbit hole here, but I feel like a lot of guys just have money and put on a show and use it as a write-off.
Oh, yeah. What I'm referring to is that they're actually getting rich off putting that cable TV. Yeah, that's
they're
not
already rich.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of them, daddy has the money and they put it out there. But yeah, what I mean by is there's probably, I don't know, 10, 12 actual shows or hunting groups that actually make a living doing pretty well, maybe not even 10 or 12, from the hunting itself. And then at the same time, if you guys go down that path where you're putting your show out there and it costs $50,000 a year, then this point number 1 here is that sometimes you get put in a position where you're not using the product you want to use, you're using the product that pays you the most so you can continue your show. And that's happening right now in the industry. There's a lot of money being taken out of cable TV and shows, put into digital content creation. The tides are turning, taking out of magazines and putting into more digital content. So that being said, there's a lot of companies out there that just need to scamper really and really work hard to try to find what pays them so they could continue to actually have a business. And so they get put into almost a compromising position. And so, surprise, surprise out there, people will say, this is the best product. When you hear someone say, this is the best for something that they're being paid to use, you really have to watch it. For example, I've heard someone say, I use Matthews bows. I have since 1992. I haven't used any other bows since they started, 1992. Think about that, a long time. And I've shot on their pro staff around the country. I shot as a professional factory-sponsored archer from the factory. And then I'm media. So I have a partnership with them too, but I've always shot Matthews. But for me to say that Matthews is the best, I have to go out and test every other bow. I don't have time to do that. So if I'm out there saying this bow is the best ever, this bow is the best ever, now I might rely on Matthews bows for my career, my passion, my love for whitetail hunting and love for hunting. But can I legitimately say it's the best unless I've tested everything else out there? And most people are using product because simply they get the biggest check. That's the way it works for the most part. And I'm saying about 90%.
I would say, just a lot of those people, you can tell that they're just being a salesman, and maybe go to their Instagram, their Facebook, or wherever, and scroll back, and you'll see that they were endorsing the same product made by another manufacturer 2 years ago, and then their contract came up, so then they switched, right?
Yeah.
They're using a different brand of scope, or a different brand of broadhead, or a different brand of camo, and a lot of that is just, contract based, right? And these guys just have to pay the bills.
Yeah. And we were talking about, Dylan and I started taking on monetary sponsorships or any kind of sponsorship for the most part for this, what I do now in 2016. Redneck Blinds was that first partner with Danny Little at Redneck Blinds. I was very honored that he contacted me. Most of my partners have contacted me, all but a couple out of 14 or 15. We had one contacted us in the beginning, 2016, and I can say we took the money and thought it was kind of a cool product and used it for a year. We felt like we had to force ourselves to use it, and I didn't like that. It was stressful. I didn't want to be paid for something I didn't feel like I wanted to use or needed to use myself, and so that was a 1 year thing. And I'm proud to say that's the only thing I've really used or been partnered with that I just didn't really enjoy, and we did it for a year. And it doesn't bother me to say I wish we would have just never partnered with that company or that product. And Dylan, you've had some experience with that?
Yeah, I mean, I played this game for many years, and like I said before, you got to pay the bills. And this was our dream. This was my dream to be a creator in the industry, and unfortunately had to take a lot of those partnerships or create content for a lot of products that, maybe didn't fit with what I actually wanted to use, but they were helping keep food on my plate. So I did it,
Which is, you can't blame people. I mean, it's paying the bills. And, but you have to come at it from that perspective. You guys probably know that, but my partners I choose to work with. There's certain segments that I don't have a partner with because I'm waiting for the perfect partner, the one that I want to use. And so until that happens, I'll happily use the product anyways, and then eventually form a partnership. And so I only form partnerships with, you don't want to form partnerships with people that you have to force yourself. I know a lot of hunting industry celebrities, they'll have a media day where basically they are a content day where they just go out and they shoot content for all their partners in one day with a television crew. They do that. And we just don't have time to do that. We're putting out 208 videos a year. I go see 75, 80 clients. I'm literally on the road 90 days a year. We like to hunt, like to spend time with family, finish a book, another web class. So we're keeping really, really busy. And on top of that, I answer 10,000 comments a year. That's what YouTube tells me. And just YouTube, let alone Instagram too. So we have busy lives. We don't have time for that. So Dylan and I like to show content as we're using it. And Dylan has different companies that he works with. And that's basically where they get their content. You're getting content as you're actually using it, which is kind of a novel idea, but that's the hunting industry. Got scent. You know, scent, I like scent. I like cover scent. I like minimizing my amount of scent that I leave in the woods when I'm going to and from a stand, so I don't have that spider web of scent in a weekend of hunting. But bottom line, we talked about this last year, you know, hunting industry's biggest lie is that if you think that you can blow your scent at a mature whitetail, especially mature whitetail buck, and a buck that's very wary, those are a little bit different creatures. A lot of times you can blow your scent at them, but they want to see you, so they'll stomp, look at you. They're wanting another sense that they can go, whether it's scent, sound, or sight, to take off. Or a mature buck just needs one of those, so he gets a whiff of you and he's gone. But you blow your scent at that older buck and he's 50, 60, 70 yards away, 80 yards away, 100 yards away. Doesn't matter what scent contraption machine, what you spray on yourself, gel. If your scent, your direct scent is going towards an animal, you can't fool that deer's nose. And so there's a lot, I mean, there's millions of dollars spent every year on that. But if you hunt as if you can't fool a deer's nose, you'll always be consistent and find success. But unfortunately, a lot of people throw that thought out the window with the thought that, you know, forget about the wind, just go out and hunt, and don't worry if your scent is blowing at that deer at all because you're using this. Big lie. Number 3, the magic bean. I have a food plot company. I own a food plot company now. We're just selling our switchgrass seed. We have a northern blend and a southern blend. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you plant this and you're going to get the biggest buck in the neighborhood, because there's so much more to it. That's just a tool. You have to use the tools at your disposal the best you can use them, but within a big system. We call it designing a whitetail property. Everything has to fit. And so I believe in our seed blends we sell. I believe in our southern switchgrass, more geared towards that southern Illinois, southern Indiana, southern Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, in that range right there, versus a northern blend. I think that a lot of times people are just planting the same thing, but that's just as of use and growth and success and growth. It has nothing to do with the quality of the deer that you're going to shoot. There's a whole lot more that goes into that. That's why we have our advanced deer hunting strategy category and a playlist on the YouTube channel. And that's our biggest, because it takes a lot to fool a mature buck, and it's not going to come from something you plant. The thought that you can grow a 200-inch deer, you know, a 200-inch deer is not that much different than a 170-inch deer, 160-inch deer somewhere else. That's that top-end buck. It's just, that's how big they grow in that area. That has to do with the type of soil, the age that they're getting, the lack of hunting pressure, the diversity of habitat, probably not extreme weathers, maybe like, you know, that extreme northern United States versus the extreme southern. Now look at the key deer, they're smaller. You take a big body northern deer, put them down in Florida, and they're not going to survive because it's too hot. And so there's a heat stress, especially snow stress, I think is even more than cold. Cold's not really that big of a deal to a whitetail for the most part. They have to conserve their energy, but if they're 4 feet deep and they're having a hard time moving, they're susceptible to predation. It's hard to get browse. So it really forces their hand to get down those deer yards where they're really sitting ducks for predators and don't have a lot of food. The bottom line is, if you live in that sweet spot, if you have ag land around, diversity, good soils, then you're going to have a chance for big bucks. And if you're in a 200-inch area, you could have a 200-inch area here and then 2 counties away, everything else the same. There's not a 200-inch area. So a 200-inch, you know, to say, well, we'll grow this, we'll help you hunt this. Unfortunately, there's some places just can't have a 200-inch deer. It doesn't matter what you do. And there's some places, I literally have had one client over towards the east a little bit from where we're at right now, where he and a neighbor have seen for 15 years in a row a 200-inch deer or better. And some years they've seen multiple deer. Folks, most places don't have that. But the places they do, a 200-inch deer is a whole heck of a lot more common than you think. So to connect the dots with plant this, grow this is just a big fat lie when it comes to the hunting industry. Number 4, that Iowa's Michigan, that what you're doing, what you see on cable TV, Iowa is a fantasy land state. Kansas, Kentucky, some of those states that have low hunting pressure, they have what it takes for habitat and soils, and they have big bucks, and they have everything to actually give you an easier hunt on a big buck, a high scoring buck. What you do there in those areas that have lower hunting pressure, deer are not used to certain things. I have clients down in Iowa. You know, I always bury my tubs up here, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York. Some good hunting in all these areas, but there's a lot of hunting pressure. So when I put a tank above and it's a foot or two off the ground, there's spooked deer. We have video of that spooking deer. We have sightings of deer being spooked or not, taking a while to get used to, especially does and fawns. What about that mature buck that comes from a mile away? All of a sudden during November, he sees this tub. He's not used to it, and he spooks. It doesn't happen as much down in Kansas, Iowa, Kentucky, some of these lower pressure states, Oklahoma, where you can put something out like that would spook deer in another state and doesn't there. That you can put I love my redneck blinds. They're beautiful. We go through great lengths to hide them and put them behind brush or in brush. It's hard to set them up. We have to do a lot of clearing a lot of times, shooting lanes through holes so that we can hide those. And then we love hunting out of them. But I'm not going to put that right in the middle of a food plot or right on the edge of a food plot where I just get in and out and not spook deer. You know, some of the hunting celebrities, they might only hunt a certain food plot out of a redneck or out of some type of sun containment blind a handful of times for the whole year. They have 50 of those setups, 30 of those setups, whatever it is. They just can't possibly, there's probably some they don't even hunt because they're not getting a picture or a video of a buck that's going through there that they want, or a sign that they want to hunt. So it's very misleading that you can put that blind on your food plot in Michigan or Pennsylvania or Wisconsin, most areas of Wisconsin, Minnesota, and expect good results. Bottom line is Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Indiana, Ohio. The list goes on, is not Kentucky, Kansas, Iowa. And you can throw some other ones in there too. Eastern Nebraska is incredible. Some great areas on private land in those locations. There's portions of even South Dakota, North Dakota. I'm not saying those are fantasy land states. They're just some great areas. And you can get into huge blocks or areas that deer just aren't used to seeing a lot of hunting pressure. And so for that, they're not educated as much as they would be in a higher pressure state. So always keep in mind what you see on social media, online is a lot different than likely in your area, and you have to learn the differences so you can actually become a better hunter, because if you do that, what you see on cable TV, you're not going to be able to apply that back at your home parcel and experience consistent success. That guided hunt is actually the same as do it yourself, and that couldn't be further from the truth. A lot of hunting celebrities will go from property to property to property to property, and their sponsors are paying big money for them to go on these hunts and shoot great animals that you might never have the opportunity to see. And it doesn't have anything to do with hunting skill or experience. It's just that they're being guided. There's a lot of money spent. They're a good shot. They're in shape. They're fit. They can go out there and hunt. They can do this type of hunt. But that doesn't mean that that's the same as your opportunities or your potential for opportunity to go hunt. It's a lot different. Do it yourself means hanging the stand, scouting the area, actually getting familiar with the deer, actually having a target buck. You know, it's one thing too. You might even go on a big property. I'll have the opportunity, I believe, to go to Nebraska this year. It's about a 3,000 acre piece. I might go there for opening day of gun season. Now on that, I believe I'm going to have the flexibility to, hey, what about this area? I can go set up and stuff. And that's part of the fun is if I have this little corner I can go hunt in, then to go sit on a ground or go sit in a tree to plan that hunt, my access, I'm all about that. So I need to check in this a little bit more. I've always wanted to go to Saskatchewan. I have to do it through a guide, and that's a dream hunt of mine. I want to go see those big Canadian whitetails. But if I go up there and shoot a 6-year-old 180-inch buck, is that really, as far as skill level or degree of difficulty, the same as shooting a 165-inch 5-year-old or 4-year-old around here where there's a lot more hunting pressure, and I'm actually the one hanging the stand, scouting and doing all the work to get that buck. So you really have to take that in, especially with the hunting industry, and that's why you see the translation from hunting industry celebrity types trying to start a YouTube channel or is trying to create digital content. It's really difficult because if they've never actually been doing it for themselves for decades and experiencing success by planning, initiating, carrying out, and finding success on their own, then they're going to have a really hard time telling you how to do it because they haven't been doing it themselves. Honorable mention, the cull buck. We see that all the time. People go out, or we're going to shoot a cull buck. You know, this is a good thing. What it means is basically the guide or outfitter has a buck they want to get rid of because it's not worthy of what their clients want to shoot, and it gets these celebrity hunters onto a property, allows them to shoot a cull buck. It's nothing that you're looking at saying, wow, we need to help the herd, because it really doesn't in most cases. It might be a bully buck, but a lot of times bully bucks are a symptom of bad management on a land too, because if you have lots of little micro buck movements, then that bully buck can actually slot in instead of experience random use of the property and non-defined use, and he's everywhere because he can't find, he's almost stressed out himself. He's too stressed out, and that's why he fights other bucks off. He wants to have his own little space, he just can't find it. It's always changing, hunting pressured, whatever. But bottom line is a cull buck, there's no such thing as a cull buck until you get into really heavily fenced in operations, and you shoot the doe too that has that genetic you want to get rid of. So a lot of times it's just an excuse in the animal. It's an excuse to get on a property and actually hunt and hunt for free and enjoy that. There's nothing really scientific about it or glamorous or anything like that, or not. It's not a form of stewardship. It's just going out and killing a deer and having an excuse. So Dylan,
Yo.
can you think of any other honorable mentions or any comments? Because I like Dylan's perspective, because he's, he and the group he was formerly a part of, they're still going at it. But Dylan, as far as knowing someone that was started from, scratch and worked your way towards monetary partnership, for one thing, how many years did it take to get your first monetary sponsor?
Oh, man. A couple. It took a couple years, and I remember when it first happened, how jacked we were. Like, oh my gosh, they're gonna pay us. I mean,
they're actually giving us money.
There was a couple companies that gave us, instead of money, just gave us tons of product.
And you guys would sell it.
We would sell that product to make, so like, I still have uncles and cousins using some of those products from way back in the day when we go on hunting trips. And they're like, yeah, I bought this from you back then.
Yeah.
It's like, thanks, that helped me go on a hunting trip or something,
That's funny. Yeah, it takes a long time for some of that kind of stuff, but I was just curious. But Dylan's group has been one that I've been very familiar with and followed and know what it takes. It takes a lot of years, a lot of dedication, and it takes consistency. You guys put out your shows, you had turkey hunts, deer hunts, and a little bit of everything in between. So you guys acted like a real show, a real professional show. That's what you guys were. And you got to a level of success, but that's the level of success. You could probably say 500 companies start like that every year, and 5 years later, there's 5 left.
Yeah, yep.
And
it's pretty cool to see who's still doing it, from back when I started, and, have stuck with it, because it's a tough road, but
yeah,
it's fun.
And I can say, if you want to get into the hunting industry, really gain that experience and knowledge first. Have something to offer people other than a pretty face. And one of the things that offering people is, there's a lot of cameramen, videographers out there, but there's very few that actually edit and that can edit well. And I would say, if you're a good editor, if you're a 16, 17-year-old kid and you're passionate about this and you actually apply yourself and learn, just Google it, honestly.
Right. Watch YouTube videos.
That's how Dylan,
yep.
I still watch him. I mean, he still watches YouTube. If you're trying to figure something out, you just look it up. You can figure it out, and then you expand your knowledge base. But can you imagine a kid that was a junior in high school and they worked really hard at it their junior year and senior year, and then they got out?
The earlier you start, the better you're going to get, the quicker you're going to get to where you want to be. I mean, looking back, I wish I would have started so much sooner, and I think that holds a lot of people back, is thinking, oh, this is going to be so hard, I'll learn it someday. It's like, just start playing around with stuff, man. Get into it.
I'll tell you one thing that doesn't happen is you have someone that wants to do this, so then someone hires you with no skill and they'll just teach you. That's not the way it works. You have to offer something first. You have to give something. And what you find is, if you don't have a skill level, why should anyone hire you? Because you haven't taken the time to apply yourself to producing your passion, your quote passion that you tell everybody you're interested in. You haven't done that. So that's a good sign you're probably not going to do it in the future as well. A lot of people in the hunting industry that have actually done something for themselves worked really, really hard to get there and learned a lot to get at that point. So I actually am honored always to work with Dylan. I don't know if you guys know, but it was Sunday, just this last Sunday. I don't remember the date. Was the 18th or 19th? Yep. But that was our 1,000th video that we put out on YouTube. A lot of hard work, and even in looking at where Dylan's come from all those years, you know, of working together, been pretty cool ride, and we both learned a lot along the way. Dylan's probably learned a lot more than me because he's editing and he's doing all the hard work. I just stand up here. So, but anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. Bottom line is, I hope that whatever we do here can make you a better hunter going into this fall and a better manager, steward of the land. And I think covering some of these hard to talk about areas can help point you in the right direction this fall and beyond. I urge everyone out there to really check out my web classes. They've been wildly successful. We have one that details how you should design your land, another one that details how you should plant and maintain and manage a food plot program. How can you make those decisions that fit your land specifically and not someone else's? Unfortunately, there's so much information in the hunting industry that says you should do this, but it doesn't apply to you. These web classes directly apply to you. And then we have our third web class that came out last year, Rut Web Class, navigating the entire rut. And then we have our fourth one coming out, which is hunting hills and thermals. I urge you to check those out, try the web classes, and they're all about teaching, helping you understand how you can navigate, not only managing your property, food plots, and the rut, but also hunting strategically, hills, thermals, and wherever you pursue whitetails for your dream and your passion.